Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? We are back. My name is Adam Bale, senior editor over at the Koalition.com.
My name is Lawerence, aka a punk with toys on all the socials.
And if you have just watched our latest review for Marshall's episode 5, Lost Girls, then you heard that we plan on putting another episode of the Madison covering 4, 5, and 6, which already had happened, but we had pretty good success on 1 and 3, and we have stuff to say about 4, 5, and 6. And if you don't know, there is a season 2 coming, so all 6 episodes are done. That's all that was for the Madison. And yeah, we figure we might as well jump in. We don't like to leave things unfinished. If you've checked out the channel, which I hope you have, click on the playlist. You'll see we covered a bunch of shows and we cover all the episodes. We finished the good and the bad. They're all there. So if you've watched any of those shows, you're curious, you missed an episode. We didn't miss an episode.
If you're wondering why we're coming in a week later,
yeah,
it was because it's 3 episodes. I just happened to watch the first 3 episodes, and I was like, I didn't even know it dropped. And I was like, hey, do you want to cover it? We talked about it. It started off slowly, and I'm talking about our numbers, and I've consistently watched the numbers grow. Now they dropped the next 3 episodes. I didn't have time to watch it as I had other things going on. You had other things going on.
Yeah.
But the numbers have been growing for 2 weeks, and I'm like, maybe we should cover it. And we have different opinions of this show.
Oh, yes, we do.
This might be the first time we really have different opinions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what?
We're pretty much locked and stuff, but we're kind of...
It's true. Yeah. Well, it's also because when we decide to cover a show, it's usually a show that we want to cover. It's never been like, I want to cover it. I don't want to cover this. We coming in 2 different angles. We usually like what we're covering, or we have issues with it, but the IP itself, we were interested. Oh man. And all right, so let's get into real quick. Thanks again for the likes, the subs, the hypes, everybody. It's been great. You guys are sticking around, you're checking us out, you're telling people. I love it all. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. Really
mind you, we don't have notes on this one because
no notes.
That we did, I just watched it. I'm like, hey, we should just cover and just talk about it. That's what we did with the last one. It's been over a week, so
no notes, no slides, no audios.
If we messed up, that's how this episode's gonna be.
We're not trying to be lazy on it. It's just that there was a lot going on, and we're trying to squeeze this in because, like we just said, we usually cover everything from beginning to end. And this one, 3 episodes drop day 1. The next week, 3 more episodes, and then it's a lot, especially when we're covering other things for the channels. He's got his channel. Go check out Punk with Toys. I got stuff doing game reviews and stuff over in the Koalition. It's a lot. It's too much, but we're caught up on this now. So let's get into it. Let's get into this. My issue that I have with this show is the way this family is portrayed. The Preston's family, the Michelle Pfeiffer's, that whole. I don't like these kids. I don't like Abby. All of them. I don't. It's not for me. As someone who's from New York, and they're portraying, and you've said this before. A lot of people that are not from New York, when they see these type of shows, they think this is how they all are. And when I've said this when I was covering the other one, a lot of people think you're either really poor or you're super rich in New York. There's no middle. And there is a middle, but we don't see that. With the people that are going to the real bagel shops and going to real shows and hanging out in the concerts and doing all this stuff, that's not what we're seeing here. This is an upper class, like the snobby type family and friends. I'm sorry. Yes, it's heartbreaking what happened to them with the father, with Preston passing away, the plane. I'm not putting that down. The acting is fantastic. Not shouting at me. I'm not saying anything against that. It's the writing. How they're depicted. And here, I mean, right there, what was it? I don't remember. Was that episode 5? And I'll bring it up now because before I forget, it's when they're on the boat when the deputy is there and he wants to
episode 4.
That's episode. Was that an episode 4?
At the end of episode 4, they go back to New York. They don't go back there. They don't go back.
So it's episode 4. All right. So it's before they leave to New York.
Yeah. So if you remember, at the end of episode 3, Stacy calls her best friend Missy, and she's like, I need you to come out here.
Come
I'm
down.
on a plane tomorrow. So I love the dynamic between Missy and Stacy. And Stacy says something in the episode where Stacy's trying to like explain stuff and she wants answers, and she's like, my job as your best friend is not to give you answers. It's just to here to be here for whatever you decide. And if you decide to be here, then you decide to be here, right?
I was waiting for her to say, and I'm also your lawyer, so I have to be here to do all your paperwork. I was waiting for that other part, because if there's one thing we learned from Stacy, and she said that all these other people that her friend wants to invite to this big family, it's a farewell, it's like a wake type of situation. She doesn't like any of them. She doesn't know any of them. They don't really care. This is not something that she wants to do, because that was one of the.
Well, that's the wake back in New York, right?
Yeah.
So Stacy comes in and she's trying to handle as much as possible. She goes down there, and she's explaining the whole burial. And hey, you know what? If you're gonna do the burial, it's gonna take this long to do it. And she's like, we don't have this much time. And she's like, I understand. We've already pushed here. And Missy seems blown away by like they know everyone by name. They understand how they feel. No one is going to try and step on their toes. This isn't New York or any big city, right? This is the country where it's like, hey, this is your land. We've all helped each other out. Where in these big cities, New York, Chicago, LA, it's dog eat dog.
Yeah.
She's completely blown away by that.
Because again, we're just going to be jumping through all this, but there was that one scene where, and it's linking to what you're saying, where they get the neighbors that show up and they start talking about the two brothers, right? And they were like, oh yeah, they didn't want any help when it came to building these houses. In fact, they put them up on these stilts, and they were like, yeah, they for tax reasons, because then they could say that they're trailer homes, they can move. Remember?
Well, they couldn't figure it out, and they talk about that, and they talk all about that, and they talk about how that they put it on these specific rails, and nobody does that. Why would you do that? It's going to make it cold in the winter. And come to find out that Paul didn't want to pay taxes on anything. That's why they said the outhouse has wheels. There's no reason for an outhouse that has wheels, but it is portable.
Everything is portable. That's on, and that
because
land.
It's portable, it means it can be moved. They do not have to pay property tax on that.
And this is another issue I had with this. I'm like, man, when Stacey's reading the journal and knowing that they built these cabins, 3 of them, you really are. How could you and the kids have not gone up once?
Well, that was something we discussed that in the last episode, and that I'm with you. At some point, you would think that Preston was like, "You guys are going. You guys can come up here once a year for 5 days or whatever. Spend the time here. Maybe come in the summer, come in the winter. You're going to experience something different. You're not. No one's asking you to change your life."
And Stacey even says it when she's telling her friend, when she points to the journal. She's like, I don't know the man that's in this book. I don't know, like the way he's writing, the words he's saying, the life, the way he sees things. This is a completely different person. But
what Missy kept telling, it is Missy, right?
It's her friend. It's her bestie. We all know. People have watched the show. They know it's
it's Lillian. I'm sorry. Lillian.
Yeah,
there's Missy and then there's a Lillian. The Lillian, I think, I'm looking at IMDb if you're wondering what I'm looking at. I think it's Lily.
Okay.
She basically she says, hey, he's telling you who he is. Like, this is the other person that he was, and this was written to you, so you can know who he is, and you can experience the things that he loved. And she's basically telling her, like, hey, you know what? Listen to that.
Yeah. That was during the whole coffee thing. Remember? They were like, oh, yeah, we're going to make coffee. Oh, I have to make a certain type of coffee. Oh, you want this? We got to put an egg in it. An egg? Yeah, and it's going to take a long time. And this and this and that. And I was like, oh, is this what this show's going to be about? That she's going to move from the big city and then follow this journal and just learn how to live off the land? Is that what we're getting?
Okay. But here's your whole thing. You talk about these girls and how snobby they are, right?
Oh, yeah.
But her friend never acts like that.
No, she doesn't.
Her friend never acts like that. she doesn't. She's not like, oh my god, where's the TV? Well, she doesn't.
Only one moment. There is one moment.
No, at the comedy. At the comedy. You talking about when she gets in the river with her?
No.
Okay.
No, not that one. It's when she goes to the sheriff's office or something with the death certificate. Remember when she has to go get some paperwork, and she goes in and she sits down, and the person that's there at the front just rings the bell, has a little bell. Well, first says ma'am, and nothing happened, and then eventually she presses the bell, and then the friend stands up and goes over there. And I was like, well, that makes no sense. Are they trying to say that that's how things are done everywhere? So that's why when she hears ma'am and the whole thing, she's not going to respond to that. No, you walk into any place, the first thing you do is go to the front desk. You don't go to an area and just sit there and play on your phone, because that's what she did. She walked in, she sat down and looked at her phone.
She walked in and she got a ticket. She got the number ticket, and she was waiting for her to call her number. That's what she did. She walked in
because she said there's no one else there though. She could see this.
Doesn't matter. I've gone up to the meat counter numerous times, and they're like, "You need to take a number," and you're like, "There's no one here."
Oh,
so well, I mean, I've seen that, and to me, that's just being again. I would have been like, "Excuse me, do you need me to take a number?" She says, "Hey, I got it from a bingo hall," and until now, I didn't realize like it makes noise too. She's like so excited that she's pressing it.
She never had to do it because they don't have that many people that ever show up. So what's the point? It's man. But that didn't.
But that's where this is where she finds out the hospitality of this small town, where she's like, "Well, how long is it gonna? It's gonna take 6 months." And she's like, "We don't have 6 months. It's already been pushed. We've done this. Paul was a wonderful guy. He's really going to be missed." It's to me that was it was showing the humanity of a small town. And here's
that doesn't have a minister. That was the one thing that I took away also. I was like, well, that's kind of weird, because if it is a small town, there's always a religious person. There's a minister, there's somebody. And when she has that funeral there's no one. And it was just a regular one of the guys, right? I don't remember this guy, but he was like, oh, I knew him. I was friends. Can I say some words? Okay.
But they also didn't say how, she didn't really say like what religion he was, right?
Just to say some words. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. It's like, just say some nice words. It would have been funny if he didn't. And he came and was like, that guy Paul, he was a pain in the ass. I wanted this land. He took this land from me. And it would have been great. He just throw a little more conflict into this. But no, he gives a nice speech. He likes him. He was cool.
The other thing that we get is that Van, that is the deputy, he calls and says, normally these small planes like this don't have black box recorders, but because he did stuff for
he was in the military. That's what I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He was former military. He wasn't former military. Paul, he served.
He was doing something for the government, like tracking stuff in the sky and stuff. So they had it and said, we have something you may want to hear. And when they all go down there, she, they asked, do we want to hear this? And he says to Abby, who the girl he's, started to form a relationship, and said, if I were you guys, no. And then looks at Stacy and says, if I was you, I would. And what it is, it's what you actually said at the beginning. And I didn't even catch it. I mean, he says Stacy at the end.
Yeah.
Right before he dies. And that's the last thing that you hear. Now, she makes it like this cruel, like, why would you do this? Right? That was cruel. Abby yells at him. He tells the story. He explains. Now, we still haven't found out exactly what happened to his wife.
Yeah, she was on ATV. She was going up a hill, and it was too steep, and she fell back, and it landed on her.
How did I miss that?
That was it. I remember when she asked about it, like what happened, and he was like, "Yeah."
I must have been writing. I totally must have missed. I totally missed that. Okay, so
So then that's what happened. It's that the ATV fell on top of her, and that's when he was talking. He was like, "At least, you got to say goodbye and hear the whole thing." I didn't. I saw it, and I mean, you didn't have to see it. I saw this. I saw it off in the distance. She went up and it went down, and That was
And
it.
that's what he told Stacy. Now, this was one of the things that okay, so this is one of the things that did bother me, and that
Uh-huh.
was it's like they get back to the ranch right after hearing this, and he's just there. Like, did you not see the cop following you the whole like? And he explains the reason why. And he was like, I don't know what her last thoughts were, but know that the last thoughts that he had was you.
It was you. Yeah. And we hear
I
it.
don't
Like,
know if that makes you feel better. If that's going to
um,
make you feel better or worse.
would you want to hear? I thought about that when I was
I don't
watching the scene.
know.
Would I want to hear this? I don't
I
know.
guess I've been so. I don't think that I would.
No.
I mean, I've been so
I
far
would.
out of a relationship. I'm trying to think of the person I'm closest to, and I'm not sure if I.
I think I would want a transcript. I was like, I would be like, you know what? You heard this, right? Yeah. Because he said he heard it, and it's like, all right, so just give me just what happened. What? If am I hearing screaming or anything? But then right this says, well, he says your name. Then I was like, oh, okay. Then maybe I would want to hear that if I was her. But he doesn't, and she listens. They all listen.
But he does
Paige flips
specifically
out.
say,
She's upset. The whole
he does
thing.
specifically tell her that if I was
Yeah.
you guys, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And this is where Lily tells her, like, hey, this was that you were always on his mind. Like, you were the last thought going through his mind.
I'm so lucky. She was like something to that effect. You're very lucky. He really did love you. Not a lot of
Yeah.
people could, that's like this was genuine. And from what we heard from the kids and stuff, they never fought. They were always happy, right? That's one of the things that Paige always says, like, I want that type of marriage, and with Randall and all that. It's
so, they basically work out the whole plot of where they're going to put the plots, where they're both going to be buried. Stacy's already said, I'm going to be buried next to him. If you guys decide to come out, then you guys decide to come out. If you don't, you don't. And it's very interesting because they go, like, the guys go, Van and Cade go there, and they're like, man, we might be able to get some excavators. He's like, we have to dig this the old-fashioned way. And they were like, well, how are we getting it up? Well, we have horse. And that's how they bring it up.
That's it. Again, I was waiting for a surprise that they start digging and they find other bodies. I'm like, oh man, Rip, he dumped bodies here too. Oh, and then that's the connection with Yellowstone. No, we don't get that.
So, during this, again, there's a lot of things going on. They don't fully know when they're going to be leaving yet, right? They're clearly not leaving till they bury the bodies and everything. That sounds absolutely wrong. Till they bury them. But if I remember, the boat ride happens after the funeral. Am I correct?
Yeah. It was after the funeral. I'm pretty sure it was after that. But
and if I
remember at the funeral, the worst thing that happened, I was like, man, that's kind of messed up. Was when Paige said to Paul, she was like, I hate you for taking away my father.
Yes.
Like, she blames him. It's like, really?
I had a feeling that's what she was going to do, because she specifically asked which one is which.
Yeah. But it's like, come on now. He was the brother, her husband, her father was there doing what he loved to do. So it wasn't like he was being dragged to, like, I don't want to go fish. He was all for it. Like he loves this.
Like they went up flying and he was drunk.
Yeah.
They were trying to avoid the storm so they wouldn't get caught in it. And it came in faster than what they had.
Yeah, and we already said this when we covered in the first 3 episodes, that if you see a storm coming, I don't know, my first thought would not be to get in a plane and let's just hightail it out there. I would try to bunker down somewhere. Hunker down and just like
how much of an experienced pilot you are.
That too. And also, we don't know if it gets covered by water. That was the other thing.
Remember, it wasn't supposed to storm.
No, it wasn't.
So it wasn't supposed to be that bad.
It's like Gilligan's Island, It's like the storm wasn't supposed to. It's a 3-hour tour. This is going to be quick.
The thing we do get is, we get Stacy going with the youngest granddaughter to learn how to fish. Right? It's just, and she says, well, you know what? Guys do it while they're drunk. How hard?
Yeah, fantastic. She's right. She's right.
And you're learning about Preston and how he was, and he's very anal about things because she's learning how to fish, and literally reading what he writes, how to tie it, how to cast it, how to do all of this. It is an actual instruction manual on what to do.
And this is where I have some issues with it, because that's also implying that he had plans of handing this over to her at some point. I thought this was his personal journal. Your personal journals don't give step by steps for someone else when they find it.
That's what it's showing. This was a journal to give to her.
I don't believe
of all the things and how to do it. They're all how to, or to hand to his kids or grandchildren or whatever, right?
I don't know.
But we do see them bring up, and again, it's the neighbors that bring up the casket.
Yeah.
And the one guy does give his little speech. No one else can say anything, right? No one else has the ability to, and I fully understand that.
I'm surprised Cade didn't, because Cade made it seem like they were neighbors, like, and he had the most interaction with the family at this point. I thought he was going to say something.
I feel like they read the room and realized,
or the field,
that they don't want, like, the family's not looking for that. There's no reason for them to speak that, right? There's still anger. There's still, and they go back, and then there's that big feast, right? I think this was when the feast is the whole town got together, and they were there to celebrate, whether they liked it or not.
Oh, it was good.
Wasn't that right then?
It was something like that. It was somewhere around that.
Yeah.
Anyway, then right after. Yeah.
And again, they're just telling stories, and then they realize, like, not only did they know Paul, they also, some of them knew Preston.
Oh, but I think it's somewhere in between this, because remember, we do get the Abby and the deputy that go off to spend their own time, and that's when it pretty much comes down to he's like telling her it's over, because he's like, what's the point? And I was like, you're leaving, I'm leaving. And she's like, how can you be breaking up with me? I just buried my father, but the whole big thing. But he's just talking about it, because they did have that moment, right? They messed around, they did their thing, but he brings it up, and they came clean, and this was very genuine when they had this conversation, because she was like, I'm not moving here, and you're not moving to New York. Yeah, that's correct. And then he started saying, I'm never comparing you to my ex and the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, I can't compare you either. I mean, you're prettier than her, but that's pretty much it. That's all you have going for it. It's like, if she was to pop up right here, I would run to her right now. It's like, it's just the way it is.
But it was the love of his life since 8th grade. But he understands that she's gone. It's been 4 years, I believe. It's been 4 years, been 2 years for her. This is where, God, honesty gets you in trouble. And I'm a very honest person, and sometimes, like, why did I say that? And he's very honest about saying, like, if she was on the other side, I would get up and run to her right now. No, but he can't.
Yeah.
And I think in my mind he was just trying to say we shouldn't compare each other to our pasts, right? But this is where he does, and again, this was a couple of things that really bothered me, right? He said, I'm never coming to visit New York. I'm never going to go visit Malibu. Like, why can't you go visit, right?
That's different. Well, he said his salary, how much he had. Remember, he said how much he makes a year, how much he has in the bank, and everything.
That's beside the point. Like, clearly,
she's rich, though. Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Like, she can pay for your flights.
Yeah, I'm going to pay for you because I want to spend time with you, right? You're not a freeloader. You're at home with your kids.
Exactly. But you got work.
He was like, I'm never going to New York. I'm never going to Malibu. This is the same aspect of I'm never going to, where were they at again?
They're in Montana.
Montana, right? I'm never going to go there. Like, that made no sense on Stacy's part. He says the same thing, and I'm like, okay, that makes no sense. Like, you might have the chance to experience other things with somebody that you enjoy being with.
And that's what she was bringing up. She was like, what are you talking about? We could still do it. And he's like, yeah, like you said, he just shuts it down. Like, no, I'm not even going to visit.
I think it's safe to say she had every right to be a little pissed off at him.
but then I don't see a relationship at all here. I don't want this to
I
happen.
disagree.
I don't see. I'm like, what's the point? I don't want what she's gonna come over. He even
You-
says, remember, he gave a list of all the things that he does with his kids, right? From the hunting, the fishing, the going out, doing all the stuff in the winter. That's not her life at all. And I would not
can't-
expect her to do that.
But that's the whole thing. She doesn't have to. You can't help who you fall in love with. You can't help who you're
You gotta
attracted.
find someone else. So what? You gotta find somebody else. Gotta find somebody else. That's
Well,
it. I would find somebody else.
but they already found each other, so that's the
I
whole
know.
thing. And
So-
they did just bury her dad. Now, the other thing that we forgot to mention was, and we saw this in the previews, and that's when Stacy gets in the water. Now, mind you, the water is cold. All right, the water is cold, and she wants to hate him. And then Lily gets in with her. I think it's Lily. Please be Lily, because I know people will be like, "Yo, was it Lily? It was
It's
originally
the daughter.
Lily."
It's a granddaughter.
But I'm looking at it. I'm pretty sure that's Lily.
The youngest one. Yeah.
But she gets in there, and she's just there to comfort her. But she makes some joke about, like, these are Chanel. And I thought that was very
Oh, yeah,
comical.
right. The friend. That's
Yeah,
right.
the friend. It broke the tension and made them both laugh, right? She's basically saying, "I love you so," like, and again, I'm assuming that it's Chanel.
If you're going, if I'm going hiking or if I'm going somewhere where it's off the grid, I'm not bringing fancy clothes or anything. I'm going to bring some jeans, some boots. Don't tell me she doesn't have it.
She doesn't know where she's going.
She did. She told us she's off in nowhere land. She was like in a cabin.
But you don't believe that it's really in the middle of nowhere. You grew up in New York, right? You don't expect that. Hey, I went. She's earlier.
I got a phone. You tell me where, and I can see. Oh wow, fields everywhere, stream.
But also, not only that, they just came back from the funeral.
Yeah, that's
so. But either way, and again, her complaining about her being Chanel had nothing to do with her being worried about. It was just saying, "This is how much I love you," right? But this is where she's like, "It's time to go home. Like, we have to do some stuff. Like, you can decide what you want to do after, but you do have stuff that you have to wrap up." And I agree. Like, this was something. Now, we got to talk about the boat ride, because it really made you mad.
That made me real mad.
So it was supposed to be a date. It was supposed to be a date.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Paige and Randall got involved, and also I think that was it. Was Stacy there in the other one, or was it just Paige and Randall
for what?
For the boat ride? Because it was supposed to be a one. It was just supposed to be Abby and the deputy.
It was supposed to be a date, and then Paige and Russell went.
Yeah, and they went.
Because
and they're on the.
She said to her mom, she's like, "Let me take them. You just do what you need to do."
Yeah. That's right.
I believe that's when she went fishing with.
Yeah. That's when she went to go do the fishing. So
and the other daughter went off. I think
she's still hanging out with the friend on the horse.
Yes.
Right. The friend came. Cade's daughter showed up with the horse. Picked her up, and it was like, "Yeah, don't worry, it's just hanging out over here." But this upset me. This really upset me. I almost rage quit the show. I'm telling you, I had the remote up like this. I was getting ready to just turn this show off, because they're on this rowboat. You see the guy rowing, okay, and then it was like, wanted a drink or something came up, but when Randall asked for a glass, and then Paige had to hit him, and he's like, and then that's when the deputy rowing then hands him a beer, and Randall looks at it like he's looking at a coconut. Like how do I do this? And he's like, "Oh, I get it, and it smells like something else." And then he like cracks it open. Oh, okay, and like putting it in, like he's never held a beer. I'm like, don't tell me they're this posh. These people this guy has never held a beer.
That is not how I took it. I took it as he probably grew up in a high society, and maybe he never drank until he got older, and he always had like actual liquor and wine, right? And I didn't take it he was looking at like, how do you open it? Just oh, you want me to drink this? And then it smells. And I can tell you, as someone who does not drink, the smell of beer is awful.
then he could have passed it down. He could have passed it as someone who does like drinking the booze, at least just beer. I'm not a.
But he doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. He
But
doesn't.
he could have, if he
drinks
went to
more than
college, or if he's a quote unquote from New York, then he knows about beer and he knows beer cans and he knows. No one would ask on a rowboat for a glass. I would not expect him to have a glass. What is wrong with you? Like, just the writing of that was dumb, and it really upset me because I'm like, yeah. And even when she hits him, like, don't say that. That's like, you wouldn't say that. This doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. The Randall thing and the way he's acting with all this. It got me so mad. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Didn't like it.
So anyway, this is where it's like, hey, you know what? It's time to go back. We got to finish our affairs. You can figure out what you're going to do later. And I fully agree with that. So they fly back. Her friend is telling her, hey, you know what? I have a great counselor that I think you should see.
Oh man, it's Batman. It's Mr. Reese.
It's Lego.
Lego too. Lego Batman. Will Arnett, right? That's it. Yeah, Will Arnett.
So they get back there and they don't give a time frame. It can't be that long. But they seem to be settling back in now. I can only imagine walking into, I don't know if it's considered an apartment or what it's considered there in New York. It is a very large place.
It looks like a duplex. It's definitely a big, there's an upstairs. It's like a duplex.
So this is
maybe a loft.
This is the first time she's coming back, after her present has passed away.
Yeah.
And, during this, she's walking through. And I mean, I can tell you what it was like, over 11 years ago when my ex finally moved out, and took the kids moved out and everything. And, you walk in and things are different. Now, I can't imagine like everything is still the same, but things are going to remind you.
She found the ring, right? That's when she found the wedding ring, the wedding band.
Now that he found it, he always took it off. So
yeah,
it wasn't like he took it off and didn't let her know. He's and they tell the story. And she's like, why do you always leave that? And he says something about his mistress. Now she's more or less joking, but it is kind of like fishing. And he's like, you really want to know? And he tells the story like, I lost it in the river, and we searched for it. And she's like, you were panicked? He's like, you have no idea. So now it's just easier to take it off because he's not trying to cheat, but he's going to be doing all this stuff. And it's fully understandable. And they were showing that now, and I just remember going, oh, God, she's about to walk up to the ring. And sure enough, she did. But there was just certain things, and she's turning on the TV, so there's sound and everything. Of course. But again, it's Lily is trying to.
She lives alone. That's the other thing with this. It's like it's a duplex. It was just her and her husband, so it's not like one of the kids lives there or one of the grandkids.
Well, Abby did. Abby moved back in for a bit.
Did she move back in with them?
For a bit, she did. I don't think she was living there then. Okay. But you get all this stuff, and Lily's like, his friends need to be able to say goodbye, and she's like, no one really knew him, right? He didn't really have friends, and they were just all acquaintances. But Lily's absolutely right. You may not want to do this, but this is for people to say goodbye to someone that they've cultivated a relationship. They want to say goodbye, and she's like determined not to be there. But she does start seeing this counselor, which she must have only seen 2 days.
Yeah, because I think it was the next day, right? Because let's say, assume they show up that night and all this stuff happened, and it's the next day she meets up with the counselor. She gets all nasty with him, starts cursing. But I'm sure they deal with this, especially with grieving people. Yeah. It's like, come on now.
And I thought it was hilarious. Like, their back and forth, their chemistry was really good. I'm like, please don't work this up into this is they're going to fall in love. I don't want to see that, right? I have no problem with the whole Abby and Van thing. Like that, okay, that was her father. And I've told the story. My dad, my mom passed away. Yeah. He was single for many, many years, but his wife, her husband passed away. They knew each other. He went over to help, and in 3 months they were in a relationship.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned. It just happened.
But also, I don't think it's him. I mean, this is his job, his profession.
Yes.
She even cracks that joke. She's like, "How many have you bent over on this?
She
this sofa,
keeps.
whatever."
She's the one that keeps on bringing up
Constantly.
like that. He's like that, and it's like in a joking manner, and he just kind of plays along with it, and just kind of lets her talk. Lets her do whatever she.
Yeah.
And he said,
"Go ahead, let it rip."
Yeah, I'm not here to answer your questions, And at the end of the first after the end of the first session, he's like, I think you're an end of the day.
Type of session, right? Because he doesn't. I think was it later on, or he's like, "You want a drink?" Right? Wasn't that the other thing? He was like,
that was I think
toward the end of that session, he was like, "Give it, and we'll have a drink or whatever."
But at no time did I get the feeling like they were trying to do it like he's trying to hit on her.
No,
he's trying to relax her. She needs to open up. She needs to trust him. But she's difficult, and you can tell she was difficult in life before Preston passed away. So
I wonder what she did. We don't know what she did. I'm like we said, we don't really know. You're saying that Preston was into real estate.
I believe he was in real estate because I thought they talked about him owning different buildings and stuff.
And I could have swore they said it was a law firm, something with the law firm, and they were like, "Yeah, everybody needs to know. The board needs to know what's going to happen." Because that was what the friend said. There's things you need to clear up back home, and she brought that up. So that's why I wasn't sure if that was another thing that was going on.
But I believe the brother was also involved in it.
Yeah,
because this is where we also find out what happened to the brother's wife. They're not from that area. They are from
the Montana.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it was in the city.
From the city, and they go to a flashback where Paul is pretty much yelling at Preston. Saying
it sounded like he was drunk.
Yeah, and he says, I'm never gonna love again, and I don't want to. How does it happen? Someone's walking across a crosswalk and they get killed. So that is how his wife dies. They don't show it. They don't need to show it. They show his emotion. And this is what makes him, in my opinion, by whatever he does, I believe he's still part of everything. Because he still flies out there. He still goes out there. Because they do know his.
I don't know, because they said they haven't seen him in a while. Remember, that was one of the things when with the kids, or when they were talking about Paul, they were like, "Oh, I don't know Uncle Paul. I don't see him. He lives out in the woods out here." I think, and then even when Preston was telling him, he's like, "When are you ever going to come back?" He's like, "No, man, this is it. This is it for me." And he's like, "All right."
Oh yeah, you're right.
And he's like, "I wish I could do that. I wish this could be it. This is heaven for me."
I believe he was still part of it, or at least maybe he sold it to his brother, or whatever. But I think
the business with something, maybe. I mean,
but either way, we find out that's where his trauma comes from. That's the reason why he's here. And then again, they don't show it. They don't need to show it.
I figured it was trauma that brought him in, because we found out that from the first episode, something with the wife, and the wife is out of the picture.
But for it to be like that, it's not a car accident. If she was walking across a crosswalk and clearly someone ran the red light or whatever and kills her.
Yeah.
So it's traumatic, right? He doesn't have kids.
No.
It was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So he doesn't plan to love again, and whatever.
Well, speaking of love, right? Wasn't this also where we see on the highway back in Montana? And I thought this was going to be a bigger part, but maybe it will later on, right? Where this is Guy and he's in his big SUV truck, whatever, listening to music, and he's got a girl and they're fooling around and doing all this stuff, and she sticks her head off out of the sunroof, and then the deputy pulls them over. And he's just like, "Yeah, I understand you guys want to have fun, this and this, but can you just do that off the next exit, whatever?
Can you wait to the next exit?"
Really, BS. No cop is going to say that. They're going to give you a ticket. They're going to pull you over. There's going to be others, because they found also there's California license plates, right? I was like, the guy's not from there, but still,
again, he's also in a state of being upset because he met this girl. She went away. They are in the country, right?
Yeah,
The
I
girl
wouldn't
was
get him.
not that hot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if she's watching.
She
She was,
invited him too. She was kind of raunchy. She was like,
yeah,
"Hey, you can join us." Like
that
just for that, you're getting a ticket.
I thought maybe Van was going to be like, you know what? Why not?
Mhm.
Um,
And it turns into a different show.
but this is we're seeing them go back to New York and just get back into their daily lives, um, and we don't know how long they've been gone.
It's within a few days. I'm saying a handful of days.
Now the um,
It was a Paige situation. We're gonna
we
get
get the
into
Paige
that because that was
situation.
a big part.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Paige goes back to work, and they must do something for the sports teams, right? They're doing something
It's
with brokering because her boss tells her that, hey, we need to get this and get that for this client.
I thought it was just like Fashion Week. It was like some kind of runway
Maybe,
show or something. Because she was saying it's like you can take as much time off you need after Fashion Week. It's like no, you have to say because
but,
in that meeting with the boss,
but she
you know,
talks about. I thought she talked about like box seats and stuff. Like we need this and that. Either way, the boss is an oblivious idiot.
she's the worst.
She's rude. She tells a story, and she goes, "Oh, you lost your parents? Oh no, my parents are great.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they just got
No,
perfect physical. Like there
it
are
was
people that are
no.
that rude and that self-centered. I was saying like at that point I would have been like, you know what, this is not the place for me to work. She finds out.
Why is she even working there to begin with? Just do if that's the family business is real estate. I get do your own thing, but maybe at this point, and like you said, with the way this boss is, it doesn't seem like a good fit. But who knows? I don't know what she went to school for. Maybe this is
But
what she
this is
wanted to get
where
into.
we see three coworkers, and they're all talking about what happened, and then we get one that is just being super rude and saying, you know what, you know how bad those those private jets are for the environment, and it's just another rich person that died, and no big deal. They probably deserved it anyway, and you knew the foreshadowing that she was going to come up on
Oh my!
her, and she did. And the biggest thing was when the girl doubles down and says something like, "You know that I'm right."
She
Doesn't
just
say, "I'm
who
sorry. I shouldn't have said that."
who does
And
that? That doesn't
um,
make any sense. I'm telling you, I don't care how snobby the person is. No one, especially in a work environment, is
uh,
going to first say that in the open and then double down, like you said, and just step to her face. Then you must really have issues with Paige. There must be real
so
conflict to
when my,
come out and just say that.
when my mom died, I was at a friend's house. Mind you, I was 13, and
Mhm,
one of the older kids came home with the girl's the
mhm,
girl's sister,
mhm, mhm.
and his words to me were, "I heard about your mom. That sucks." And the amount of emotions that go through your head. And again, he was younger. He was
He
probably
was
like
young. He doesn't know what to
16 or
say. I
17.
mean,
But again, we see how kids are today, how young adults are today.
yeah, but that's
But she flat out tells her. Now, mind you, she doesn't know that it's this little prop plane.
no, no.
It doesn't use all
Right,
this
she doesn't have the
fuel.
facts. She doesn't have the facts, and it's
And
inappropriate to say. I don't.
oh, it's
Come on
beyond
now.
inappropriate.
This is why I don't buy this. I don't buy this whole thing here. I get why they did it to get to the whole scene of the fight and all that, and the police, and to connect, the deputy back into the story. But man, this could have happened outside. This would make more sense because we know what did she smoke? Who was it that smokes? Is it Abby that smokes? I could have swore somebody was smoking.
I
Sure.
don't
But
remember.
it would have made more sense if she was like after having the interaction with her boss, she goes outside, right? Maybe to get just a breather or whatever. And then the coworkers are out there smoking and talking their trash. Then that makes more sense because then it's outside of the office.
No, no,
You know,
they were in the break room
That's what I'm saying.
No, I know people do that stuff all the time. They talk in the break room, and again, they didn't think she was around. She just happened, but then she punches her at least once, maybe more. We don't really know.
I hope she stomped a hole in her. That's
I
it.
do
She deserves it.
So this is where we start getting, we see Abby. She's with her friends who are asking about this new guy and how hot she is, right, and all this other stuff, how hot he is.
Yeah.
And she shows a picture, and they're like, "What are you doing here? We want details." And she's like, "This all the details you're getting." And then she gets a phone call from her sister that she's been arrested. She calls her mom. Abby just happens to be like 3 or 4 blocks away. And then, of course, Stacy gets there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think one of our friends also talked about, I'm going to set you up with this nice young guy. He's rich. And it seems like, yeah, and why is he still single? Because he's on his 3rd wife. You know, I don't need that in my life. There's no point. And then she was like, "Oh, your life is the most exciting thing or something." She said, "Then you need to look into that." I was like, "What does that mean?" It's like, well, you just said that someone else's life is more. You know what I mean? Just go watch a show, go do something else, read a book series, go play ping pong, do something else than just want to gossip about her life. But there's people that do that. That's what they do.
Yeah, people love it. And so we do see, Paige is there. She's arrested. And the girl's going to press charges. Stacy gets there, and the cop says, "I can't let you talk to her." And she says, "If you were arrested and your mom showed up, is there anyone that could stop?" And he's like, "I'm not even going to try."
Yeah.
So he said, "Hey, she wants to press charges. You can pick her up. She'll be processed probably in 2 days or whatever it is, something like that." And then she goes, "Let me talk to her." And she basically explains the situation. And then she says something about, "Your parents probably wouldn't be happy." And she says, "My dad died of cancer." And she says, "Oh, so you know what she's going through, except you got to say goodbye." And then she goes through all this. To me, this is not the type. This is a girl that literally just said, "The truth hurts."
Yeah.
After she heard everything that she said, this does not seem like the type of woman that would be like, "Yeah, you are absolutely right, Stacy." But
and I think I was just gonna say, because I think it was either right before they did this or after, but this is also when Abby calls the deputy back in Montana, right? And said, "Remember, I need you to help me with this. Can you talk to? I don't know. My sister just got arrested. Do your cop talk. Do something."
Yeah, and he did. This is what I did like about it. Is he basically said right away, she is a lawyer. Well, can you talk to him? Talk to him and says, "Hey, what precinct are you from?" He's like, I'm from Montana."
Yeah.
She just wants to know the situation, tells the situation, says thank you. And he's like, "As I told you, she needs a lawyer."
Yeah.
But Stacy shows up, smooths it over. But then Paige is crying. "I lost my job." And she's like, "You think so?" She's like, "I didn't know." She's like, I didn't know that we, that we raised our kids to be fighters like this. And every time that someone says something that you're going to punch them. And I'm thinking, whoa. First off, I will tell you this right now. God forbid something happens to my ex and my daughter calls me because someone says something like that to her and she punched him. You're not going to hear me say that.
Not going to side. Nobody would. I'm
going to say I would have hit her harder.
She doesn't need it. Yeah. Because I think that's when she was like, is that her over there? And then she went over and she smoothed it out. And then pretty much she was like, "I'm not going to press any charges. That's it. Friend, your daughter's free to go." The whole thing. But I think even if they were to get into a court situation, press charges, they're going to void this out because clearly Stacey's family, they have money, they have lawyers. They
have
witnesses.
There's not a judge or a jury or anyone that is going to look at that and go, "Oh, wait a minute. So she said that to you right after your dad passed away?"
Witnesses too, in front of others. So it's not hearsay. It is witnesses there. Come on.
So, but we do kind of get that. This was the other thing, I think, going back to episode 4. And that was when Stacey's talking to Abby and she's talking about Van and she's like, "You need to hold on to him. They don't make guys like that anymore." Which I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
You're just living in your snobby world.
Exactly.
Where Abby has picked bad guys.
Yeah. Where you're not allowed to walk the streets. You have to be chauffeured everywhere. You know,
Okay,
you
calm
don't
down.
see
I
the
know
world.
you're so upset that they insulted you, the city that you no longer even live in. Remember that.
But I moved for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I love that place. I still have family there. I was
Uh-huh.
born and raised there. It wasn't for crime. It wasn't for the neighborhood that they said were horrible. Oh, the village. Are you kidding me? You know, I believe me, I had my share of issues, you know, but it definitely wasn't in the village. South Bronx, yes, but not the village. And there she's on Fifth Avenue. And that never came up again. I was hoping that when they get back, they were like, hey, guess what? We found that guy who sucker punched you and took your bag. You know, it's like I was waiting for that to come up, you know, but that never happened. But yeah, it's just this life. Like I have no interest in any show that talks about the high society and how they do this, because they don't live a normal life that I can relate to for any of it.
But that's the whole point. Like, right, they're living, we're watching a show of this high society of something you and I are never going to live unless if we get so many subscribers and viewers right there.
I still wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be a douche. I wouldn't do it. And then for this, say, all right, now you would do that. You would be that. I said, look at that. Everybody hears it first. You'd be a different person.
But I'm saying this is their lifestyle that they've lived, and now they're thrown into what a different lifestyle is.
But Stacy says, remember, she remembers living with Preston in a small apartment eating ramen.
She does.
She does.
But the girls
and
don't.
The girls
never had that.
But she still seemed to have forgotten all that, because as we see,
a lot of people do. But she even talks about how, like, you know, how they've moved away from that and how they've forgotten that, and that the girls never had to experience that.
Oh man, they never gone camping. They never gone. Whatever. It's a whole thing. That just.
I've never gone camping.
Are you kidding me? You weren't a Boy Scout or anything? Oh.
No, they make hotels with power for a reason.
My mom, she would send me upstate New York for the summer, and I was in a cabin with a bunch of other kids and just in camp. That was it. Bear Mountain. That's what we did. She wanted to get me out of the city during the summer.
I'm a city guy. I'm a city guy. I've never been camping. I have no interest in
it. I know how to dig a ditch. I know how to swim and eat some wild animals and gut fish. I did that.
I hate fish. I don't want to do that.
A while and gut fish. My wife's still amazed, but I worked on a boat. You know, I know how to do that. And then, but anyway, the whole point is,
not much boating in Des Moines, is there?
No, we don't have any. There's no need for a boat. We got no water. But there goes that. But the whole thing with this is that we're getting ready for this big party. They have the big party. All these people.
Now we're going into episode 6, right?
Yeah, 6.
So this is where we meet Dallas, who is a total douchebag. I'm just gonna say that. I'm sorry for using that.
I didn't know he's like a rocker, that he has a band. I didn't know that. I thought he was an actor. I thought that's what they were saying before, that remember, and I was you don't go to New York to act.
Yeah, no, I think that he's like show business, what he was trying to get into.
I guess because he was talking to Randall and he was like, "Oh, what's life?" And he was like, "Oh, good. You know, I'm working on new material."
But this is funny because if you remember, in the last 2 episodes, we had seen Paige and Russell reconcile. You know, she basically says all these nasty things that she'll do to him as long as he doesn't throw her in the water, and you know. And then, you know, we're moving towards having to go to this. Now we do have Stacy that goes to the see the counselor again, and she invites him. She just wants someone friendly. She wants someone that if she needs to talk to, and we see that is someone that she can go talk to.
Well, he also releases, I think that's when he says, "Oh yeah, he has a PhD from Harvard or something like that."
Yes, he's very condescending back to her.
Yeah, but that sucks. I hope that's bullshit. I hope it's really that he has a degree from a community college or something. That's what I want, because then that'll be like, it doesn't matter. Why does he have to have the highest of the high? Why can't he just connect with her on that level and it just works? His method works.
I think he's being very condescending with her because she's condescending with him in many ways.
So maybe Maybe
But
I'd
you
love
like
it if he's not even a counselor. I love that. That would be great too. If he's like, oh no, he's just good with talking and listening. That'd be fantastic. I hope that comes up.
Listen, Russell was already in a show where he was a fake lawyer, so I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So he agrees, but we see them now, and they have to go pick up Dallas. So they're all in the car, and Abby brings up Paige getting arrested, and Russell has no idea. Russell has no idea that she's got fired.
How would he know?
Well, because if you got fired, aren't you going to tell your significant other?
That's not her significant other. That's Abby's.
No, Abby.
Remember? Dallas was married to Abby and has
Abby. Abby says something about Paige getting arrested, if I remember correctly, and Russell didn't know.
What? No, because it doesn't matter. Because remember, Paige is married to Russell, and Dallas was married to Abby. So when
Abby
he picked up Dallas,
Abby says something to Paige about being arrested.
Oh, so you mean Russell didn't?
And Russell didn't know. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so not Dallas. It was Russell didn't know. So maybe no one called him. How else would he know? Yeah,
because you talk. I mean, when you tell
she called her mom. She called. No, she first thing. It sounds like the first person she called was her sister. Right? Remember?
Yeah, she made a comment that she called every single person.
Yeah, you would. No, I get it. You would call your spouse, but no, she didn't do that.
So we finally get to meet Dallas,
mm-hmm.
And then Dallas turns to his daughter, Bridget, and is like, "You look hot," which I'm like, "Whoa, dude!" Like. He says something like very I'm like, whoa.
Well, he even said it. He was like, it might be wrong to say it that way, but you know what I mean. It's like, oh, that's good. No, we don't. We wouldn't say it that way, but we get now we get why, because we're supposed to have a certain view of this character, and we got that view instantly.
That's something that a mom might say to her daughter.
Yeah. Right? Well, something like that would be Andrea over in Landman. We can see that. Yeah, I can see her doing that.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. What the hell's his name in Landman?
Oh, what? Andrea and the daughter?
No, her husband. What's the main guy?
Billy Bob Thornton. Tommy.
Tommy's not going to be telling his daughter that she looks hot.
Tommy's upset. He's upset that his daughter's hot. Remember, that's the problem.
And I understand Tommy's point of view.
Yeah. He is upset. But yeah, so this guy's a prick. We didn't like him. We're not supposed to like him. And now it's letting us know, now that we've been introduced to the character, don't like him. So whatever.
I don't understand the purpose of they don't have a good relationship. Now, I get, I take that back. We go back to some of the scenes that, where Preston had said, hey, you know what? He's been good to the kids. Yeah, he's kind of a loser, but he's always been good to the kids, so he's a good guy. Good.
But then that's the thing, because later on in this episode, when we find out that, he's going to pick up the daughter and take her to volleyball or whatever and do all this, he's like, I can't believe it. How is this happening? But like you just said, that in the flashback, Kurt Russell, Preston was saying he was good with the kids. So it sounds like he's always been good with kids. He's just not good with Abby. They don't connect. And he freeloads a lot.
But see, I think this is where the problem's going to be. He's doing all of this because he's scared that she might take them away. I think that we're going to see a custody battle, some sort of feud between them going into.
Take him away. Where's she going to go? There's no way. He knows she's not going to Montana. He doesn't know anything about what's happened. What we know happened there, he doesn't know anything.
You don't think Abby's going to end up in Montana by the end of the show? You are crazy.
Maybe she will, and I wouldn't care. It's like, no, but I think what he's worried about is that he's not going to get money, because remember, the family is paying for his and all this other stuff. He's getting alimony and all kinds of stuff. So maybe this is his way of contributing, because then that way, if she brings this up in court, it's like, hey, I pick the kids up, I take them to their activities. I'm a parent. I'm doing something. Would they need to come visit me? They're accustomed to a certain lifestyle. I need to just provide for them that lifestyle, and they have the means. So
yeah.
So I'm sure there's another reason, but of course he loves his kids. So we can't doubt that.
Yeah.
It's not all about the money.
Another thing that we kind of forgot to talk about, and I love this. I absolutely love the relationship between Russell and Stacy. That's her son-in-law, and when she's there, she's like, I just need to get out. So he takes her to a couple of dive bars that are around. Now, this may go to your thing of like you never had a beer, but you know what these dive bars are, right?
Yes.
But they have a wonderful relationship because
besides that issue, or the BS of the person that works there that doesn't know the name of the bar that she works at. It's like, oh well, that's what it says on my check. Is BS. Every bar has a name. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, whether good or bad. I used to go to a bar in Chinatown called Yellow. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Every place has a name.
But she talks to him about his dad passing and how he handled it. No, he does tell the I'm not gonna tell it, the off-color joke. And
Oh
she's
yeah,
like, I don't think I can be offended.
that was a pretty good joke. I've heard something similar. We've all heard it, right?
And then she's like, I was mistaken. I can be offended.
Right.
But they have a good relationship, and I really do like it because not everyone has a good relationship with their in-laws, where it seems like both Dallas and Russell both had good relationships.
I feel like do I really care? I don't care. But a part of me wants to know how. I'll tell you with Randall and Paige, of how they got together. I feel like that was an arranged marriage.
I mean, Russell.
Russell. I feel like Russell, because from the way I understand, a lot of those high society types, they like to stick within their own social environment, and they do matchmaking. And I feel like they were put together now because Paige is completely different. I don't see any other. Yeah, they seem to have good moments and times and stuff, but he just seems more in his own world with work and other things.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something else, but yeah, he's a good guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I just would like to know more of how they were connected, because I could easily see is like Russell. Preston found Russell maybe a business dealing worker family and said, hey, you know what? I think you'd be good with my daughter over here.
But here you are saying how you don't like this lifestyle. Like
I don't.
But they're portraying something that isn't. I lived in New York, right? You grew up in New York, and you're saying this isn't how it is. But then you're at the same time saying this is how I've heard. Again,
no, exactly. I heard of it because we've all said. I mean, that's just there's a show, The Gilded Age. It's on HBO, and it talks about the high society back in the 1800s and 1900s and stuff like that. And that still happens till this day. They have their own. They keep themselves sheltered in a way, away from everything. Like when in that one scene where Preston was talking about, I was like, oh, I wish my kids could build a snowman. We can never do that. We didn't have a backyard. You can do that in Central Park. You could do that at a regular park. There's plenty. You go on the roof of your building when snow falls and build something. Don't give me that petty excuse like, oh, we could have built snowman. We didn't have a backyard. Oh, BS. If he was a real estate guy, then go in one of your properties and then just build a snowman with the kids. It's all that. I can't feel bad for them is what I'm saying. Not with that whole part of it, and the way they're acting, and also they don't have to worry about money. We've already talked about it. If they wanted to really connect with both ends, because we're seeing the hard working class with Montana, the deputy talking about how much money makes Cade and his family. Okay, we get that. But then once they mentioned the property, Paul's property, maybe if they brought up how much it costs and then maintaining, and when they sort of brought up some of the money stuff with Stacy, but then they're like, oh, don't worry about it, you'll be good. She's like, yeah, we're taking care of everything. So then if that was the case for everybody, then we would have less stress. If someone said, hey, we got all this property, don't worry about it, you're set for life financially. If you didn't have to worry about money, then you could worry about other things. You don't have to worry about money. If the show made it seem like she was a normal type of person, where it's like, okay, now do we manage this financially? Do we keep this land? We have the townhouse, we have businesses. What do we need to sell to keep this land going? Who's going to maintain it? Because the friend brought that up. She was like, who's gonna make you need somebody to do this? Are you gonna hire me? She said she's gonna do it. How are you gonna do it? You have no experience. I didn't even see equipment. I'm sure Paul was, using shovels and doing stuff, but it's just that all that stuff. I don't see the connection of like, oh, it's gonna be one of those, because in a way it's a comedy. Right, we saw some of the comedy aspect of them with the hornets and running around. Oh, we're not used to this, or with the tracks. Oh, it could be a wild animal and the fishing. We see the comedy. So, is this what we're to expect from season 2? That everyone moves off to Montana? They give up the city life and they decide.
I think this is a 2-episode or a two season show, right? I don't see how you go much
longer than that,
unless if you do a show where, let's say, Abby and Van end up together, and you have that spin-off there.
Oh, I don't want that spin-off. Right? No, we don't need all these spin-offs.
Well, again, this is what these.
What we should have looked up to see the ratings of this, because I don't even think Paramount wants it. That's why they drop 3 episodes at a time. They're like, we filmed it, we have big names associated to it. Let's just dump it. Let's just dump it. Let's not even promote it. We got Marshall. It's an awesome show. Can we just focus on that? Kurt Russell, Michelle Pfeiffer. Okay. Let's do 3 episodes this week, 3 episodes next week, and call it a wrap. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already filmed all 12 episodes.
I wouldn't be surprised. Right? We're almost done.
Yeah, and they're like, let's just split it. We're finishing up. Let's just split it. We'll split it in 2 seasons. But
that's what I kind of feel like happened.
Right.
I mean, 12 episodes seems like that would be a standard season. And I feel like they say, hey, let's just break this up. We'll do 3 here, 3 here. Contractually, we're obligated
to just.
What happens if it does well? Maybe they want to pull and say, you know what? Let's do a spin-off.
A part of me tells me like they watched it and they're like, can this do well? I don't know. We're gonna drop. I understand 3 episodes drops. A lot of shows do that, but to drop the next 3 instead of go week by week, why are you rushing it? What is it? It's as if you have no faith in the show. That's what I'm getting.
Well, I agree with you on that. I completely agree with you on that. It seemed like they had no faith and they just wanted to get it off, and that's it.
Well, what about you people? What did you think so far?
Wait.
No, it's not over. It's not over. No, it's not over. Just at this point, though, I'm just wondering, if you made it this far, people, does this connect to you? Like, are you okay with all this? You're looking forward to the 2nd season with this? All right, just keep going. Go ahead.
So, I'll just quit. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 60%. So, I mean, IMDb overview is 8 of 10. 60% for Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't know if it can find the ratings for it here.
I forgot the name of the site. There is a site that can tell based off of streams.
Yeah, but either way, so we're getting towards the end. So they all get picked up, because they're going to go to the ceremony for Preston.
Yeah, it's a
wake. It is basically. Now Lily is very, very concerned about Stacy being there. She's like, you need to be here. And for me, I do believe that the counselor, what is his name? I don't even see Will Arnett on here. Oh, here it is. Phil.
Because she kept joking Dr. Phil. I thought she was just joking. Like when she said, "Oh, Dr. Phil." But now that you just said his name is Phil, I guess
she's there. She really doesn't want to have anything. She wants to be. And again, I understand. Everyone handles loss a different way. She just wants to be alone. She deal with her family. That's it. Like family. She wants to get back. She wants to deal with where Preston loved being, other than with her, right? That's her way of being close to him. And, Lily's looking for, Phil gets there and he goes up to Abby and she first thinks like, oh, you're trying to hit on me. And then it's like, oh, you're the doctor. And then she follows her mom, or her mom says, hey, can you go get Phil? She's hiding out.
Was this before? I guess it was earlier when Stacey went to the coffee shop, because I remember there was that one scene where she goes.
Yeah.
To get coffee, and then
That one tugged. That one was hard. That
was a tough one because she goes to get coffee, and then the woman that works there, she knows her and her husband, and starts talking about it. And she's like, and she knows, like, oh, how's school? Oh, it's good. It's this and that, and I got to get things ready for your husband when he gets his drink. You know how he likes it. And
she had a question for him.
Yeah.
She's like, he always gives me good advice or whatever. And she goes, I'll just wait till he comes in.
Yeah.
And I'll ask.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't say anything about him passing it. Like, okay.
2 different ways they could have gone. They could have been like, I'm so sorry, but unfortunately he passed away. And then it's going to make her sad.
Yeah.
She just kind of kept it to herself and let herself be sad, but also realized how many people her husband touched. Like, no matter how you look at this, Preston in this show is just a genuinely good person. He cares about people. The barista or whatever you want to call her, working at the coffee shop. Now, but that was, again, that was kind of foreshadowing what, she can't stay in New York.
Gave her a big tip, just didn't want any change. She was like, 2 months doesn't matter. And then she dumps the coffee. She didn't even want that.
Yeah.
It just ruined it. Yeah. She was like, I'm done. And I think that's the other issue. And we hear about this all the time. When someone passes, or even in a harsh relationship or a breakup, sometimes you just got to get away from everything. And I think that's what she was getting from this. It's like, man, wherever she goes, he's going to pop up. Like, look, here's a coffee shop she used to go to. And then now that's going to be a thing. What about all the other spots she goes to?
I think what it is that, yes, everything, she's going to remember everything. This is where we did that. But in her mind, he always wanted to be back at that ranch.
Of course.
And so that's where she wants to be. But
is it a ranch? I don't even know what it is. Like,
whatever it is. It's
whatever.
3 cabins. It's 3 cabins and berries.
I was trying to think. I was like, what is that? I mean, it's not like he had cattle. He didn't even have animals like chickens or anything. Right? I didn't see any of that. But he did like to hunt. So it's just cabins out on land, and he would hunt.
So, back at the, at the wake, she's in her bedroom, pretty much trying to hide away from everyone, which is fully understandable. And she asked Abby, because Abby had met him, and said, "Can you go get him?" So she goes and gets him. Says, "Hey, my mom wants to talk to you." And they have a talk, and he was like, "Well, where do you want to be? Like, do you need to be here? There's other people here. They're not. They're here for you, but they're not here to talk about what you did. They're here to talk about Preston and what they remember about him." And once again, it goes back to, she has this trust with Russell, her son-in-law. And when she decides that she's going to leave, she says, just, run defense for me.
Yeah.
Lily's not going to let me leave. Just please run defense. I need to get out of here. But she leaves.
Yeah. She leaves.
And when they find out that they can't get a hold of her, she left her phone there. Again, there's a lot of problems here, but I guess being rich may solve them. And I'll explain that in a second. I thought that we were going to go back to the dive bars. When Russell says, I'll go out and look for her, I thought he was going to go check some of the bars. That the girls didn't know that he took their mom there. But he comes back. I can't find him. I've been in the hospital. Which I'm like, well, you're in the hospital. Come on.
No. Yeah, no. He didn't go to the hospital. I thought, and he also said something about, like, I walked around the block or something like that. Like, maybe he thought she just wanted to go for a walk.
Yeah. And she got in a cab, and she was just like, he's like, where do you want me to go? And I was thinking she was going to be like, just drive. I mean, I have the money, just drive. Like,
I think she said north, right? She was like, just go north or something like that. I'm like, all right.
And they're all freaked out. They call the police because that was like 6 a.m. or something.
That's not long enough. Not long enough.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, it's not long enough. No. They're gonna say, hey, she's an adult. She just went walking. It's not like she has Alzheimer's. She's healthy.
Yeah. No. They don't respond.
And I was like, please don't let this. Please. Oh, damn it, they did it. I think you were the same way. So here we see Cade, and he's riding his horse. He sees that that the barbed wire fence is broken. He gets off. He fixes it.
Does he fix it? I thought he broke it even more so that way he can go with the horse. I heard him clipping.
No, he clipped it and then tied it up.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he's walking, and then he sees somebody at the gravesite. And he gets up, he walks over, he sees the gun.
I thought he took that gun away.
No, because she says,
well, right? Wasn't it in a car when he was like, "Can I hold on to that?" And she's like, "All right." She hands it. She was like, she wasn't going to use it." And he's like, "All right, that's fine. So let me take that for you."
Well, yeah, well, maybe. Did they fire the gun later on? There was another show I was watching. Either way,
there was another show that they fired the gun.
But again, I'm sure he has other firearms. Either way, he gave it back to her because she says I wasn't. It was in here. You know, because she says, "Hey, I was."
Yeah. That was in the car.
You know, he said, "I thought about doing that. It's not something you want to do." And I think that was actually the sheriff, not Cade. I think it was the actual sheriff that wasn't it.
No, it's Cade. It was Cade because Cade talked to her because remember he knocked on the window.
That's right. Yeah. That's when he called Van to say, "Hey,
yeah." And he said,
need to come pick up the daughter."
Yeah, pick up there's something on the road. Remember?
And then he walks over. He sees the gun, and he gets worried. And then she spouts up, and she took the gun because she knew that if a mountain lion or something came, that she needed to sleep next to him. Now, this goes back to if people have been watching us, Reacher and Reacher time. Okay, Reacher time. If you want to know what Reacher time is, it means that time doesn't really matter. He flew across the country and then flew back.
And it's still daylight, and it's the same day.
He was clearly like an SR-71 Blackbird stealth fighter that he was able to fly there and back. And I do have an issue with that. She just left. Now, again, she left her phone and everything. Now, she probably has a private jet that she could have just chartered or whatever. Right? They're rich. Maybe it's not their jet.
They never brought that. Yeah, that's one thing that never comes up.
But they were on a private jet. They were on a private jet. Now, was it their jet? Who knows? Either way, she has the ability to get on a private jet if need be, where she's not going to need her license and everything.
Yeah.
But she, here she left the phone, and I understand she wants to be close to her husband, but it shows a lack of not self-awareness. It shows a lack of compassion to fly from New York to Montana. This is pretty far. And not tell your kids. Not say, "Hey,
I think
I need to be by him." I know you guys don't understand this. I'm flying out.
Blame Dr. Phil. Blame Dr. Phil because he said it. Where do you want to be? And it's definitely not here. And that's where she wanted to go. And she left.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, you know what? You have the means. Go to London, go on a trip, go do stuff, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be here." But he also didn't say, leave and don't tell your family where you're at during their wake and just walk out on them. But that's where it ends. And we have to wait.
Who knows? What was that? Is it early next year or something?
No, it's actually late 2026, I believe. Let's see here.
It's late 2026.
Season 2 is. Let's see if it gives me a date here. This is 2026.
All right.
So only the first three episodes say 2026. They don't have the next three.
So maybe in the fall. I'm not assuming they're going to drop this during the summer. So maybe in the fall they drop the next 6 episodes. And what can we expect? I could also expect Dr. Phil to show up and they all go back to Montana because I'm sure that someone's going to relay the information to Cade and say, "Hey, she's here." And it's
I don't see Dr. Phil in this. I see the best friend showing up there. I see Maddie moving out there. I'm Abby. I see Abby moving out there to be with Van. I don't see Russell. I don't see Russell and
Paige.
Like I can see like a conclusion at a conclusion at the end of this, where you get this conclusion where it's like the one cabin was made for the girls, and that's where Abby's gonna live, and the kids are gonna come and visit her on they're gonna come out in the summer, or maybe vice versa, right? She already has
She's gonna move in with the sheriff, the deputy. If she moves out there and he has land, we haven't seen his house, but he's got his boys and stuff. Remember, he's got 2 kids.
Yeah.
So if she's really going out there to start a life with him, then I don't see her living in a cabin. She's gonna move in
to be there for her mom still.
Yeah.
Either way, that's what I see happening. And then you have Russell and Paige, having their life in New York and then coming out. I just kind of see how I see it wrapping up.
I don't know about this. Even if that's how it wraps up, but it's not, for me, it's not must-see TV. You know what I mean? It's like what we just said with the Marshall and all the stuff. It's like all the girls missing, what's going to happen. It's entertaining. This, okay, she's there. It's drama. This is completely different. I get it. Yeah, and I feel for them for what's going on. But then this whole back and forth, they got all this money. It doesn't matter. The sky's the limit. They can live anywhere. We already said with Paige, she doesn't need to work. Abby doesn't even need to work. Hell, she doesn't work, right? That was the whole thing. She doesn't do anything. That's what the whole issue that Preston had with her. Yeah, it was like, well, I have to keep picking her up when she falls down. That's just the way it is for the rest of her life. It's like, okay, so if that's the case, then yeah, to your point, she will go back to Montana. She will bring her kids. We already know the daughter's going to have a friend with the horse. She's going to be okay. The little one, I could see her enjoying the land. She knows how to fish. She's learning how to track, from her dad was showing her. So they're already planting the seeds for that to happen. And then that's it. The Russell, I think they said it once in the first episode during that dinner. He works in shipping or something like that, his family, and so I don't see any reason for him to leave. And Paige, she may want to leave to be with her family, because that may be too much for her. Mom is gone, sister's gone, nieces are gone, and your dad just passed away. She's going to live by herself with her husband? I don't think so. So I could see that being an issue. But
we'll see.
We'll see.
I enjoy the show. I know you don't enjoy the show.
It's just too far fetched. Sometimes you gotta watch the show and just. I get it. I mean, it's so hell. I'll believe Reacher swims a huge river and comes back and does it all within an hour or two with no issues and no muscle soreness. But with this is a little bit too much. Yeah. But hey, we'll see. We got time. And what about you people? If you made this far, what do you think of this show? Are you looking forward to the next 6 episodes? Did you enjoy the 6 episodes? Or you just want to watch something else and you're like, hey, it is what it is. I appreciate the acting, the drama, but I'm not going to hold my breath for the next episode next season. But hey, we did it. We covered it. We're done. And that's it, everybody. So if you can check out the channel. We also got Marshalls, and I also mentioned another show we're coming from in April. That is a show, the MGM Plus horror show. And then we should be covering in May Dutton Ranch, which is another Yellowstone spinoff. There's so many that just spinning off. And even though this Madison is not a spinoff, it's just within the world. So,
yeah, again, I think it's kind of weird what they did. But either way, yeah,
it's done. All right, everybody. Have a good one.
All right, take care.
Yep.